Welcome into Garnet and Grub, presented by TECO People's Gas. I'm Catherine Phillips alongside award-winning chef Travis Johnson. He's the Executive Culinary Director of Seminole Dining here on the campus of Florida State, and he's going to walk us through a delicious game day recipe. Chef, what you got?
Well, game day recipe desserts. So we're going to do a traditional Southern cobbler.
Okay.
And we're going to make that in a cast iron.
Okay.
And do it all in one pot.
That's one of my favorite desserts, so I'm ready.
So we're going to start out by looking at our biscuit dough, and we're going to incorporate all of our dry ingredients together. So add our flour, sugar, because we want it to be sweet, a bit of cinnamon, pinch of salt, our baking powder, and then we're going to go ahead and just whisk all these together. We want to make sure that we incorporate them really, really well. And then we're going to take our wet ingredients, which is our milk and our egg. And we are going to mix these together. We always want to do them separate, and then we will incorporate them together as we go. So, would you like to stir? I'll have you stir. And we'll add in, keep going. We'll just kind of whip this up. You see how it's starting to get thick?
Yeah.
We're going to add our butter. And this is just soft butter, so it was set out at room temperature. Kind of reminds me of being in Grandma's kitchen.
That's a workout.
It is. All right, now that we've got this mixed up, you're going to want this biscuit dough to sit for probably 25, 30 minutes. So we're just going to go ahead and put it in the fridge, and then we'll come back to it when we're ready.
Okay.
Okay. Next, we need to make the crumble that's going to go on top. It's going to make it taste really good. We're going to add our butter, our brown sugar, our flour, and we'll mix that together. And you want it to be clumpy, and you'll see why when we get to the end. So this is where we're going to get our stove on. Today we're using medium cast iron, and right now I have a medium to high heat.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and add my blueberries. So those are going into the skillet.
And you're also using natural gas, so what's the benefit of that?
The benefit of natural gas, especially for making cobblers like this, is I can really control the heat. So I've got it turned up pretty high right now because I want to start to cook these blueberries. And we're going to add some cornstarch here in a moment and some citrus. And we need that temperature to be up at 140 degrees so that cornstarch starts to work and you ended up with that nice, thick, more of that cobbler base that you like. And so with the gas, I can control the temperature. Like right now, I'm going to turn it up to get it nice and hot. You can start to see the berries cook. We're going to take our cornstarch. The cornstarch is going to work with the berries and the water. And again, once that temperature hits 140 degrees, it's going to start thickening up. And you're going to end up with your cobbler base. We're going to go ahead and take some Florida oranges and some Meyer lemons and just add just a little bit more essence of citrus to this. Give it some flavor. This is just wonderful. So now we're going to let this cook for about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
We want the berries to almost break down. Because remember, we're going to take this cobbler when we finish and finish it in the oven.
Okay.
So we want to cook the berries about half to 3/4 of the way.
Okay.
Okay. All right, you can see there's a nice simmer here. You never want to bring this back to a boil, but you want to have just a nice simmer to the berries and always want to taste as you're cooking. And what I'm tasting for right now is sweetness.
Okay.
So depending on the season, the berries could be really sweet, or we may have to add more sugar depending on how it is.
Okay.
Those are spot on. I'm gonna pull it off the stove. And we have our biscuit dough that we had in the refrigerator.
Yep.
About 25, 30 minutes again. It's gonna set up, it makes really good. We're just gonna take this and do drops. And you put this biscuit dough in raw because we're going to drop this into the oven and we're going to bake it on 350 degrees for about another 18 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
And now revisit, we have our crumbles. This was our flour and our brown sugar and our butter. We'll just get right in there, top this off. How's it look?
It looks so good. So you leave that clumpy like that?
I leave it clumpy like
Okay.
that, yep. Now let's go ahead and get this in the oven. All right, it's been about 18 to 20 minutes, but I can really start smelling it in the oven. Let's check on this. Wow, that cobbler looks great. It reminds me of my great-grandmother's.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Should we try it?
Yeah.
I think the only thing that would make that better is some vanilla ice cream.
I was about to say. For full details on this recipe or more information on how you can incorporate natural gas at home, at your business, or at your next tailgate event, log on to peoplesgas.com/cooking.